I got to attend the world premiere of Supergirl, and so I wanted to give a short, non-spoiler review of the movie. This was a movie I was highly anticipating. I had a lot of high hopes for it. I was very excited. So, did it live up to my expectations? Yes. This movie is incredible. It is actually, I'm going to do a hot take, and I'm going to be bold and say that I think it is easily the best superhero movie that DC has done in recent years, right up there with Wonder Woman, which I think was the gold standard. And also, I think it's at the top of my list for superhero movies in general. Why is that? I will say that I think the greatest strength of this movie is that it is so clearly focused on its story and its character in telling Kara's story. There is no fluff, diversions, nothing like trying to just set up the next movie. No, it is 100% focused on the story it is trying to tell. It is a character-driven story. There is a lot of action. It is action-packed, but that action is not at the expense of telling the story and of developing the characters and the character arcs. Kara is front and center. Millie Alcock, she is amazing as Supergirl. I think she has created the signature portrayal for this character that I think will remain iconic for years to come. She adds so many layers to this character. Her portrayal is so refreshing because a lot of times woman hero characters, superhero characters, they don't get to be this messy. You just don't get it always. And so I think it was just really refreshing to see her take on it, and she is so good in this role. So you have Millie Alcock centering this movie as Kara. You also have Ruthie, who is also an excellent character. She has a lot of really good development. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's really their story that drives this movie. This is a movie that actually has something to say. It's really a much more emotional movie than you might expect. It's a movie that I will admit, it made me cry a few times. It really speaks to grief and what it means to grieve and how we grieve and what it means to be good and what it doesn't mean to be good and how to be good despite being in pain and grieving and suffering loss. And that's such a relatable topic, unfortunately, for a lot of us. I know for me personally, as someone who has struggled with grief, especially over the last year plus, and struggling to kind of just live in a world that is not what it once was for me, it really hit me. And I think for a lot of us, our like pets are more than just pets. We create these special bonds with them, and the movie does really a beautiful way of portraying like what that relationship is and how we can lean on for our babies when we're struggling. The movie's villain has been a point of controversy as to whether or not there needed to be more to him. I actually think that far from being boring and uninteresting, he is a great villain and perfect for this movie. He is cruel and sadistic, and there's no rhyme or reason to it, and that's exactly how it needs to be. The movie is darker than you might expect for a Supergirl movie, but because of the nature of the subject and what is going on in terms of what the villains are doing, I think the direction they chose for this villain makes perfect sense. And when you watch it, at least I had very unsettling and uncomfortable feelings watching it. And I think that's exactly what it needed to be. I disagree with anybody who thinks that he needed to have some sort of like explanation or tragic backstory. I think it was perfectly done the way it was. Bobo is always great, and I think he was intertwined into the story in a way that wasn't distracting, but added to the story. And again, the direction and the narrative and the character growth that I think this movie was trying to get across. If you've been on the fence about seeing this movie, you should go and see this movie. I think it is that good. I think it is as I said, one of the best DC superhero movies and one of the best superhero movies, period. It is that good. My hot take. You won't regret it. It really set a high bar for future DC movies. I hope that they all really choose to stay focused on story and character. I think that that is why we're all drawn to superhero movies and superhero comics, and why these stories have lasted and stood the test of time, because it's really about the characters at the end of the day and what we relate to. And this is a very relatable story, despite taking place in space, different planets, which, you know, in of itself was really cool world building and really well done. It has like sort of like a Mad Max, Star Wars feeling mixed into it, as well as a superhero movie. And Leslie, there's nothing like seeing some of the iconic images for Supergirl than seeing it on the big screen. This movie, I think, is meant to be seen on the big screen, and I think seeing some of the moments involving Supergirl in all her Supergirl glory, and the iconic images that we have of Supergirl that we've seen on the page, seeing it brought to life on film is something really special. They did a great, excellent, phenomenal job. So please go see this movie. You will not regret it. I just want everybody to see it because it's that good. And I know there's been like mixed stuff out there, and, you know, whatever, people get like weird notions in their head and vibes, and they haven't even seen the movie. I have seen the movie. I can tell you it's excellent. It is up there, one of the best superhero movies. I'm so happy. Like, I had such high hopes for this movie, and it met all my expectations and then some. It was incredible. It was, you might say, super. I hope you go and see it. I hope you enjoy it as much as I did.